Hello, my name is Daniel Caruana. What I'm going to be doing today is two interventions that were talked about in my vignette with Susan Delgado. Susan Delgado is going to be played by my wonderful wife, Jennifer Caruana. So the two that I had actually discussed was CBT and solution focused therapy. So what we're going to begin with is the first intervention is mindful meditation, and we'll just go right into doing solution focused therapy, a few of the interventions from there, just because of the time constraints. So we're just going to go right into it. So, um, good morning, Susan. How's it going?
It's been okay.
It's been okay. How's your day been?
It's been a little rough. I had a pretty bad day at work. My boss made me make a lot more calls than what I'm used to,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how I feel about getting on the phone and talking to people. He's not really receptive to the fact that makes me very, very, very uncomfortable, very anxious.
Yeah, I can see that. It sounds like we've kind of had a rough day there.
I'm a little wound up.
A little wound up. So if we're gonna rate your anxiety today, one, it's just been rough, but maybe not that bad. To 10, like it's been like the worst that you've had to deal with so far. Where do we rate it today?
I would say today is about a 7.
About a 7.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So, maybe we can just try this a little bit. Is what I'd like to just try is a little bit of guided mindful meditation. We've discussed this in previous sessions, but I think this might be a good time for us to start utilizing this. So, what I'm going to start doing is that I'm going to go ahead and start the clock on here, and I'm just going to walk you through the steps of using mindful meditation. So, I want you to just right now get very comfortable in your seat as much as you can.
Okay.
All right, and you can either have your eyes open or closed. It just doesn't matter. And as soon as I start the clock, I'm just going to have you start just focus on your breathing. Breathing in, breathing out at a consistent rate. Don't worry about any thoughts that come into your head. That's going to be normal. But every time that a thought comes into your head, I want you to just observe it. You can be there in the moment with it, but then I want you to redirect your attention back to your breathing. Okay, we're probably going to do that for about 3 to 4 minutes. Do you have any questions?
No, I think that sounds good.
You think it sounds good?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go ahead and try it. So
Okay.
go ahead and close your eyes. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer here. Okay. So right now, just focus on your breathing. Remember that we're breathing in, we're breathing out. Any thought that comes into your head, I just want you to focus on the breathing. Doing a really good job. Breathe in and breathe out. The whole point is not to worry about the thoughts that are coming into your head. You can observe them, but then we're refocusing our attention on the breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Deep breaths. Remember to be returning our thoughts just back to our breathing. Doing an excellent job. Just be aware of your entire body. Be aware of where you're sitting at. Focus your attention on your breathing. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop it. Just bring your back attention. All right, so how are we feeling after that?
I think I'm feeling a little bit more relaxed. So I don't carry a lot of my tension in my shoulders and just kind of not thinking about stuff for a little while. I felt like I can kind of decompress.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, how does it rate against your scale right now? You said a 7 earlier. So, I mean, how's it
I would
rate in
say
terms of that?
probably about a 4.
About a 4? Okay, well, that's a lot better. Okay, so maybe we can just kind of go into. You said that you've been having to do a lot more phone calls. That sounds like that's been kind of what we've been dealing with a lot at work.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I can ask this question: is that you've been coming in to see about your anxiety a little bit. So if what would be kind of the best situation? You walk out of my office today, and it was just fixed. Things were just 100% better. I mean, what would that look like?
I would like to be able to make a phone call to a stranger without having my anxiety over a 5. I feel like that's when it starts kind of getting unmanageable and I lose track of what I'm supposed to say. And if it gets to that point, I usually end up not making the call, and it's been getting me in trouble at work.
Okay.
So if I could at least get through a couple of phone calls without completely freaking out, it would be really nice.
Okay, so getting through a couple of phone calls without completely freaking out, being a 5. Okay, so looking at the past, I mean, was there any times in which you were able to do that, or maybe it wasn't such a big deal?
Oh yeah.
Or what were those?
At my last job, I was able to do that a little bit better, but I always had a script.
It was in the script.
I worked for a call center, and we had to, make specific calls related to products we were selling, and they would always kind of give me a guideline of what I was supposed to say. So it took the guesswork out of it. That was really helpful.
Okay, so you were able to have something in your hands that you were able to refer back to. Okay, all right. So what's the likelihood of you being able to use that at your current job?
They don't provide us anything like that. I mean, I could... Generally, I think I could probably end up making one.
Okay, so you could go ahead and make it. So how would you feel about that in regards to your anxiety?
I think that would be helpful. I actually never thought about that. I could possibly write down maybe what I'm supposed to say.
Okay, all right. That sounds like that would be hugely helpful to you in this situation. Okay, all right. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and we'll just pack it up for today, and we'll move on to the next session. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for showing up.
Thanks for having me.
So essentially just kind of debriefing from that entire session. The reason why I chose Susan to go through CBT along with solution-focused therapy was kind of iterated in the vignette that I had proposed. Susan has had a lot of issues regarding anxiety and being unable to do her current work in a appreciative manner with her boss, and being able to complete the assigned tasks that were presented to her. So from the sound of it, and just from the observation, is that we have a lot of issues regarding our ability to think through these things. So what you just witnessed was, first off, using CBT, she was able to use a lot of guided meditation to be able to bring her anxiety down, so that she'd be able to kind of go through her work job without being able to be bogged down by a lot of these negative thoughts. Her whole idea of thinking about a lot of phone calls that she has to make, and it brought her anxiety up. Using the mindful meditation was able to bring her anxiety down from a 7 to a 4, which was hugely helpful. And then using solution-focused therapy, using the interventions, the miracle questions, along with the exceptions, we're able to kind of understand like where she wants to be at with the therapy process, being able to reduce her anxiety, being able to make phone calls without her anxiety being at a 5. And through the therapy, we're able to find out that at her previous job, she was able to do these phone calls without having to have that anxiety, because she had a script. And then we were able to kind of curtail that into her creating her own script, and then that be reducing her anxiety and using a lot of positive connotation to be able to get her to go along with that. So essentially, that is the reasons and the rationale of why I believe that using these would be a good idea, and hopefully through more sessions like this, Susan will be able to do very well. So thank you so much for sitting down with us. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.